speed trumps everything. The cars that you purchase, if you're not selling them, the capital is locked and you're losing money. Every single day the car is not selling. Merchandising is not about only making the images look good online, but also about how effectively can you get the vehicles live the moment the dealer has acquired it.
This is Auto Collabs.
Hey, Michael, do you remember when your job included designing things?
It's been a while. And now it's meeting about designing
Okay,
things.
well, you don't know, but you are one of my favorite designers because you designed probably one of my favorite pieces of art
Really?
in this world. Yeah, and it's over your left shoulder.
Oh.
And can you go grab that?
Yeah, let me
Is
grab
that
that. Let me
movable?
grab
Can you
that.
bring that up to the camera? Because
He's getting the
this is-
headphones off.
Michael-
this is spur of the moment. If y'all
It
don't
is.
know, we don't ever talk about what we're going to talk about when we
No.
talk about things.
no, and
I
so
didn't realize that.
I
would
knew
take
I
my
liked
ears off.
Michael. I knew I liked Michael Cirillo. Don't show it yet. Don't show it yet. Too
Oh,
late.
he already showed it. Oh, it's over.
And then he makes, and what you're looking at is like a pop art cartoon style picture of Jack Black as Nacho Libre with his arms crossed saying the word no, and above it in like comic typeset it says no way Jose. And
Yeah.
then very little on the bottom it says unless you want to. And if you know, you know.
if you know, you know.
This is when I moved here, by the way, and I didn't have any artwork in my office. And I'm like, I'll just make something.
Dude, there's nothing
It's
more
amazing.
There's nothing more appropriate than moving to Texas, playing the Nacho Libre soundtrack, and designing that piece of art.
Which has everything to do with our guest
No.
today, Sanjay Varnwal, who is with Spyne. He's the co-founder there. He is like a passionate pursuer of doing more business and serving more people. That's what I've gotten to know of him. I'm
And
going
he
to
does
ask him.
work all over the world, by the way.
And he works all over the world. We're going to ask him about all that and more. We hope that, Nacho Libre and Sanjay somehow mean something to you. Enjoy this conversation with Sanjay. Sanjay, thanks for joining us here on Auto Collabs today. We're excited to have a conversation, man.
Thank you, Kyle, for inviting me yet again. And
Yeah,
thanks, Paul.
absolutely.
And that's all.
Okay, so I want to. I'll never forget you. We were at Brian Pasha's Modern Retail Conference, and you were tracking me down with everything that you had, and it was the guys, Paul and Michael, the intensity at which you were like, no, I have to show you what we're doing for dealers because it's this important. That was kind of like the mode in which you were tracking me down, and for me, that level of passion was super invigorating and exciting because it's like, no, we are going to I'm going to show you this because more dealers need to hear about it. Where did that passion for we're going to get into this dealership network and we're going to make sure and serve dealers? Where do you think that passion originated from? Was it like your founder, your origin story, just a way that you've always done business or done life? Where did that start?
Yeah, I mean, I did not grow up in dealerships, of course. Come from a background which is very much centered around computer vision, software development, and all these like high tech work. And built a lot of startups as an executive member. One of the first few members who built some of these like really scaled up startups in the country in India, and was there with Amazon for a brief as well. So seeing some of these startups really growing from like nowhere to really like mammoth scale, impacting some of these businesses at massive scale, right? So one of the problems that we identified over the journey of building our businesses, that auto dealerships is a segment to be in, because of the complexity of problem. I mean, of course, everyone loves cars, right? So I love cars. A lot of fascination about cars and driving. So anytime I used to like visit dealership, I used to like wonder how they operate with so much of moving inventory, so many of them, right? So and these are like expensive cars, right? So all of these cars come at about like $25,000 like baseline, right? So when you acquire a car, and until the time the car doesn't sell, you keep making losses, right? So I understood the complexity of the operation that dealers get to. And when I discovered that, okay, US is such a massively big market of automotive, then that was like the aha moment for me. And we decided to go very very deep into auto dealerships as a segment. But of course there are like a I mean, hundreds of companies operating in the auto dealership space. So we picked up a very, very defined niche that will do one part of this entire workflow of the dealer, but do that part like really, really well. I mean, top 1 percentile of anyone that can do that particular work, we should be doing in that particular quality manner, right? And we
Mm.
went very deep into auto merchandising as a problem statement, where the problem statement was, hey, can we help the dealers list their inventory on online channels faster and in a way premium fashion than they could do, right? And that was our origin story. We launched it in the US and started pitching to the dealers ki, hey, Carvanas, CarMax, some of these like massive companies setting up so many studios across various parts of the country and showcasing their inventory in a very very premium beautiful fashion, right? But of course you would not want to invest that kind of money here, and that is where you are not able to compete with some of these like top companies. What if we give you some technology which gets you at the similar footing, right? And not only gives you premium merchandising but also gives you a way to quickly get your inventory live on all the channels, so that you can also cut down on your turnaround time costs, right? So you get faster to live. So this is the core metric on which we started the product on, and that caught up in the last 3 4 years. We scaled to roughly now like 2000 plus dealerships in the US already. uh,
How many did you say?
2000, right?
2 to
just
3,000?
in merchandising alone, right? So we work with almost these many dealerships already in the US, and very recently, about 6 to 9 months back, we introduced a new version of the product, new product line, which was around this entire contact center automation, right? So which is AI agents built for sales and service processes. We connected back to the merchandising product that we already launched. That's how the journey evolved for us over the time. Yeah.
So I mean, you took on such a heavy lift. And I think one of the most unique things about your situation specifically is that you regularly work from two different hemispheres on this planet. Can you talk a little bit about what that is to balance? Because I feel like the auto industry is such a hardworking industry, and I love it when people kind of see what's happening behind the technology and behind the company, because I feel like that helps the people connect with the other people that they relate to. So what is it? What does your regular work, routine look like on both hemispheres?
You won't believe it. So it's like a
That's why I asked, because I wanna not believe it. Yeah.
so of course, so I'm one of the founders, which is not you based in US yet. Of course, I travel a lot in the US, and in fact, I recently moved my residence to the US in New Jersey. Uh, but majority of time I split my time between US and India, where our both of our offices are located, right? So in US, of course, we
Wow.
have like 12 to 15 odd people now who are doing like various parts of the work across sales, service, product development, customers, research, and all. But large part of the team is still based in India. About 450 odd people in India, which are split across product and engineering, site sales, customer success, operations, all of these teams, right? So as the
Whoa, whoa,
CEO of
whoa,
the
whoa,
company,
whoa, 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 whoa,
That's a
whoa,
lot of
whoa, whoa,
things you
whoa,
just
whoa.
mentioned
You
there.
said how many people?
150. So we work with like 2000 plus dealers already, right?
Yeah. Are you doing work in India as well? Like, are you working with dealers there, or all
Yeah, so
is
we have dealers in Europe. We have, of course,
okay?
I mean the biggest of the dealers here in India working with us already. So some of these geographies also have a substantial number of clients. But of late, last 3 4 years, 3 years specifically, we have started building US as a core geography of ours, and that's where I started spending like more time in the US.
All right.
So
So I need really quickly. What's your trick on the long flight? Like, how do you? Because we've taken all three of us have taken some long flights, and
Yeah,
I'm
we
not good
have.
at it yet. But I can imagine you. Like, are there 2 or 3 tips or tricks for those that like to travel internationally? That you're like, you got to nail this part.
of course, like it is a 16 hours one shot flight. Like you board a flight and you get down at in about like 16 hours. So I try
Goodness.
not to sleep in flights. I try to watch as many movies as possible in the flight. So,
Wow, that's a lot
so
of movies.
yeah, yeah. So
That's
I
7 or
finish
8 a
like
flight.
one season entirely, or 3 to 4 movies at a stretch. So because usually when you run the company, you don't get much of time to spend in all these places, right? So
It's true.
every second month I travel between India and US. Uh, of course, other parts of the world as well, but most of the travel is concentrated between India and US zone, right? So yeah, I mean it's stressful, but yes, it has to be done.
But
So
you're a
I
movie buff now. You can answer any question about any movie on
IMDb
the plane.
ratings, anything about the movies.
It's amazing.
All right, I had to know. I had to know. I had to take a little aside because I find it fascinating how people deal with that and how people balance those things out. Especially when you're in one time zone doing work in another time zone. Like Kyle was saying, we had a little bit of experience doing that just for a week though, and that was
Uh-huh.
challenging enough. We were in Kazakhstan, and that was hard enough. I can't imagine having to do that on repeat all the time. So,
Yeah,
do you ever forget where you're at?
yeah.
You wake up and
Yeah,
you go,
so when I do a short trip to the US, so actually, if you do, I'll just tell you right now, in Western time would be about right now it is 11:48 p.m. here, so maybe 12:30 a.m. Uh, 12:30 p.m. in the US, right, in California somewhere,
yeah.
right. So we are just 12 hours apart from US right now,
Yep.
right. So whenever I do the short trip to the US, so 3 to 4 days it usually takes to get adjusted to the body clock there, right?
Mm.
And when you come back, you just got to like a day changes to nights,
You just
and then
barely got there.
so some of
It's a
these
mess.
situations are like a very
All
difficult.
right.
But
So let
a lot of executives
go
I
ahead,
know.
Michael. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. A lot of executives that I know of running big companies usually travel a lot between US and India as well.
Hmm.
So I picked up some cues from them and started
Okay,
doing
I,
this.
I have a question for you because you know the experiences you said earlier about working in many startups and scaling them and getting them to grow big. What's an aspect of startup culture that you wish more long-term, long-standing companies still had inside of them? Like what's an aspect of startup culture that bigger companies would benefit if they were able to preserve?
I think it's about the intensity, the speed, the vision that you chase. Some of these things that you can marry together, that does the trick, right? So in startups, you are maybe 100 odd people. If you've really scaled up, maybe 3 to 400 people at max. But there's a driver to everything that is being done, like for that matter you are a startup, right? So 3 4 years in the operation, or 5 6 years in the operations, and you are building it up. Let's say 20 years down the line you will have uh, 200 300 odd people running this event all across the country. So you will have like a people who will just take it as a matter of fact that okay, this has to be done, let's do this at our own pace. In startups, like when you are a startup and you are competing against some of the largest companies of the world, so I think speed trumps everything. If you're directionally uh, going to chase certain solution or certain problem statements, then uh, speed is one of the, like I hear a lot of podcasts from some of the really scaled up founders from the valley, Silicon Valley, Y Combinator, of these places. And most of the operators who have scaled up will tell you one thing, that only right that you have against the big companies is the speed of delivery of everything that you can
Mm.
do,
Mm.
because they have all the world's resources, they have all the world's distribution, all the finances of the world, right? Despite startups like come every other month, every other quarter, and keep hitting like some of the bigger companies and keep denting the revenues, right? So I mean the speed is also your superpower if you are going in a particular direction which is like defined, which is the vision for you, right? So
Mhm.
and if you keep driving at a pace that bigger companies are not able to match.
Mm.
Phew.
Yeah.
I mean,
Speed and intentionally toward a clear vision
well,
is the
yeah.
moat, I think. So, somewhat, especially with AI development right now, everybody's been asking, like, what's the moat around your business? How do you make sure that your business is resilient? And
Of
it's
course.
the speed and intensity at which you provide feature enhancement
Sure.
that someone else has to try and keep up with, right? So yeah,
Right.
you might be able to develop the MVP of the app or the thought of an app, but can you create speed and intensity in the direction of a vision with feature and enablement and enhancement at a pace that outpaces the one behind you, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
It's like
Let's say,
running, you know.
let's say a big company in our space, of course, so they can do everything, right? So they can, of course, build this particular thing, whatever we are building right now, but they might take about 12 months from now to get it out. We can do it in next 2 months, 3 months, and then by the time we get to 12 months, we might have like maybe X number of customers working already with us, who are super happy, right, with the
Yeah.
way we are already working with them. And that gives us an advantage, gives a company like us an advantage to keep compounding on top of it. You can keep adding more and more happy dealers who keep like spreading good words, and that's the way in which startups usually grow, that we are also trying to emulate.
Yeah.
You
So
know,
I
go
want to
ahead.
get to the core thesis of your stuff, because obviously, the early phase was specifically around merchandising, photos, but you've now wrapped, like, okay, if we're thinking about merchandising, if we're thinking about inventory, and we're thinking about turns, that
Yeah.
the vehicle is kind of the center of the data ecosystem. And so how do we extrapolate vehicle data into every single other part of the dealership ecosystem? Why did you choose? Because, like, there's kind of two, central records in auto. One is the customer profile and one is the vehicle profile. Why have you chosen to center around the vehicle profile and create spokes of a wheel off of that? And what's the efficiency that dealers should be looking for when they look at a quality kind of inventory data ecosystem?
Absolutely, like wonderful question, right? So we all have been in dealerships ecosystem to answer this question. So if you see like a dealer's business, right? So dealer's business fundamental is using the capital in a most efficient manner, right? So it is a capital rotation business, right? Which essentially means that the cars that you purchase, if you're not selling them, the capital is locked and you're losing money every single day the car is not selling, right? So inventory turnaround time is the most important metric that dealers should be looking at. Of course, all of the dealers are looking at it, but from the point of view of different software that they use, how are those softwares contributing to this particular metric is what we are envisioning is going to be like the most important thing that the dealer's business should be centered around. Because see, every single day the car is not selling, they lose about anywhere between 40 to $80 per car depending on the segment of the car, which is like holding cost per day,
Mhm.
depreciation, and various other costs combined in one part, right? So and the normal inventory turn right now is like a 12 times, 6 times a year, right? So if you are able to sell that car within 30 days, it is massively big enabler for the dealers. And every single component, whether you are acquiring the car or pricing the car, or maybe refurbishing the car, merchandising the car, you are marketing it, selling it, or servicing it, every single node of the vehicle movement gives you that opportunity to condense this vehicle turnaround time. So we picked up like all these threads one by one, because merchandising was the first thread that we picked. Then we moved into syndication. We're now moving one step forward to marketing and sales part of it, which is like just a natural extension of what we are building to improvise on this inventory turnaround time and give the dealer a view that okay, this is what your inventory turnaround time right now is, and on this vehicle you can do this to reduce it by maybe few days. So every single vehicle could have like a different strategies that they can do to reduce this inventory turnaround time. This is the direction that we are heading towards. And voice AI Vinny is one of the products that we have just attached to measure this, to impact this particular metric like deeply as a next step.
In our questions, we always ask like some things about you before so we can get a little bit of background. And you mentioned that you love tennis. And one of the things that stuck out at me from your comments was you can be down five nothing from a set standpoint, and you can still win the match if you don't lose your head. Do you feel like that mentality has carried over into your business life?
Absolutely. Like tennis is an amazing game, right? So I've watched, played like hundreds of games, watched like thousands of, and played maybe hundreds of them. Right. So there's always there's this, I mean, control. I mean, you as a player are completely in control on your destination on that particular match, right? So you can be down two sets, but still, if you have like the grit to continue, you can still defeat. Like Djokovic has defeated uh, two sets down so many five sets matches
Yeah.
through Nadal, Federer, all of the all of the players in the history, right? So I learn a lot and relate a lot to the way tennis is played by the two players and how we as an entrepreneurs run our businesses. I mean, till the time you are standing, you are not out. So,
I
so
love that mentality. As long as you're standing, you're not out. Boy, we've had to deploy that strategy several times, Zach.
I'm telling you what, I know what that feels like.
That's the title of the episode. That's the title of our business.
Yeah, right. That's just the title of the
If you're
business
still
for you.
standing, you're not out. That's exactly right. I feel like every entrepreneur just was like, "Yeah, you're so right." You know,
I
and
feel
it
that.
doesn't matter. Like if it's a dealership entrepreneur, if it's a SaaS entrepreneur, like we all feel that mode.
It's funny,
What are you,
you know-
working on next? What's the thesis driving you toward now as you've now got these 2,000 dealerships that are also giving you feedback into what gaps there are in this process, specifically when it comes around inventory or customer communications?
yes, so of course, so all these insights have been we developed all these insights over the months of interactions with the dealers, like day in day out. And when we launched merchandising, the entire goal was to give the dealer uh, a way to display their digital inventory to online channels in a most beautiful manner, right? So that's how our journey started. But gradually, when we went deep into this problem, we figured out, okay, the problem is way deeper. Merchandising is not about only making the images look good online, but also about how effectively can you get the vehicles live the moment the dealer has acquired it, right? So let's say the dealer has purchased the vehicle, and if it is not listed online, so they are losing out on opportunity to generate leads. Can you do anything through which the moment the dealer has acquired a vehicle, you can put it online, even if with nearly realistic images, with the disclaimer ki, hey, this is AI touched image, but later on, after 10 days, you can do like the real shoot after the reconditioning is done and replace some of these images, because anyways the inventory stay time is about 30 to 45 days. It doesn't matter, but it generates 10 days of additional inquiries for the dealers, right? So this was one of the insights that we picked up, that the inventory turnaround time is the most important metric that dealers should care about. And on this entire merchandising as a solution, we picked up time to live as a core metric. And then after building this entire merchandising around time to live as a metric, we thought that, okay, what is next? Next is, I mean, till the time the vehicle is sold, the game is not over for the dealer, right? The vehicle is still on the lot.
Mhm.
So next logical solution for us is, hey, can we impact the dealer's appointments velocity, right? And that's where we picked up, hey, a lot of leads that dealers generate are not attended to within the time that they should be attended to, are not
Yep.
followed up a number of times, right? So if you are able to introduce a very effective agent that understands inventory inside out, the customers inside out, the dealers inside out, and are able to stitch a very natural conversation that can let that customer come to the dealer's shop, that'll be like a win-win for everyone, right? And this particular agent doesn't sleep. So this kind of pitch you have heard across the board, that this agent can of course do the regular work, which is like a repeated repeatable boring work very efficiently, right? So we picked up this agent, built it around appointment setup and conversions, where the appointment shown rate is the ultimate metric that we started chasing, which started working well for us. And then we are going next to service lane and then acquisition as the next channel. So we are trying to club this entire cycle of vehicle acquisition to vehicle publishing to marketing to sales, service, and back at acquisition for the dealers via agents and using AI. So, and all these, across all these cycles or the nodes of the vehicle movement, we keep telling dealer ki, hey, this is the impact that we brought in on your inventory turnaround time. So that's how we are envisioning our software to be built. And you see, like, there are very few customer data platform in the ecosystem right now which provide this kind of insight to the dealers. You would have heard the big news of late, uh, full path acquisition by Cox already, right? So
Yeah.
this entire insight that you are able to drive from the business, that becomes a superpower. Of otherwise, all these systems like CRM, inventory, service, drive systems, uh, every system like are sitting in the dealer ecosystem independently, which we are trying to bridge in using this inventory turnaround time as a core metric.
Well, you're saying all of the things that we love: bridges, connectivity, innovation,
Survival.
I mean, yeah, survival. These are all things that we love. We're excited that you're in the community, and we're going to see you soon at a SoduCon. Guys, if you're listening in the future, Sanjay was at a SoduCon.
And he crushed it.
And we were excited
You
to
should
be in
have
there,
been
and you
too.
should have been there. Sanjay, thanks so much, man, for joining us on Auto Collabs.
Thanks a lot, MC, Kyle, and Paul for inviting me.
Okay, I will say this. I don't think I could watch movies on an entire 16-hour flight.
Ooh.
No.
We were coming back from Kazakhstan, and Kyle and I watched one of the worst movies I've
It was
ever
terrible.
seen.
Recommended
Mission-
by MC.
No, you did
Probably
not recommend
not.
that.
What was
He
it?
didn't.
It was Mission Impossible
Mission
22
Impossible.
or whatever the last one
Oh,
was.
yeah.
Part 33.
Yeah, and Kyle and I didn't say a word. We watched this entire 3-hour movie with a gratuitous script, overacted, and we didn't say a word to each other for 3 hours. And then the movie ended, and we both took off our headphones and we were like, "That was the worst movie." I was like,
Why
"That
did
was
we
a
watch
terrible
that?
movie." He was like, "Yeah, it was."
But you
He
have
just
to.
said-
If you're doing that much traveling, you have to watch trash movies. That's the only way to do it.
Well, here's the so let me bring this back for a second. It cannot be overstated how difficult it is to stay focused across multiple hemispheres and multiple time zones. Also, how difficult it is to stay focused in an industry where the technology is moving so fast that every time you look over your shoulder and you don't see anything, you realize that everyone's like next to you, and you have to like, right? And so like that level of drive and passion to solve this problem is so apparent in his personality.
I was thinking about the word velocity, which is really what he
That's a great
described,
word.
right? Velocity is speed with focus. It's not just like chaotic speed.
Mhm.
And he kept bringing it back to that. He's like, no, we're focused on solving a very specific thing. And he also dropped that nugget from the other startups that he had mentioned he had been a part of and scaled, is that each of them they focused on one thing.
Mhm.
And I mean, that's very clear about what he's doing. And then the other thing in the back of my mind, when you guys were, Kyle, when you and him were talking about, staying ahead of the other people that are like going to try and catch up to you, I thought, what an exhausting prospect of a job to do. And then I realized, oh, I'm one of those guys.
We all do it.
No
We have
wonder
to.
I'm so tired.
No wonder we're tired. It's wild.
It's incredible, though. I mean, that is really the point to take away, I think, for me with Sanjay, is the power of what happens when you have intense, uncompromised focus and are willing to go at it with unadulterated, like just raw speed. That is a recipe. I mean, there's people in our industry today that are like, what am I doing wrong? And it's like, I don't know, 3-hour lunch breaks. I don't know, like waiting for
hit him on the face,
waiting for the clock to run out.
Yeah.
Waiting for the clock to run out. It's like, but it is. And
Yeah.
I've been there. Like we all go
Me
through
too.
that season, I
Everybody's
think.
been there.
Yeah.
But it's that. It's speed. It's speed with
Intense
focus.
focus in a specific direction with pace, velocity.
There it is.
I don't
Sanjay,
know.
Full shit.
what a guy. We're gonna see him at a SoduCon. Guys, if you weren't there, you should have been. Okay.
Just
You got the dad side from me. Okay. You should have been there. And if you're listening to this before a SoduCon, it's not too late. You should be getting tickets
do that.
for the next one.
I'll say that. Well, look, as always, thank you so much for joining us and all of our windings of conversation. On behalf of Michael Cirillo, Kyle Mountsier, and myself, thanks for joining us in Auto Collabs.
Welcome to Auto Collabs. Why are we recording? Are we rolling yet?